What is up, champions of Azeroth? This is the Chig coming at you with another World of Warcraft Season of Discovery video. Today we are going to be talking about the Mage. Even though I'm not much of a caster, you'll hear me all the time say I don't speak squishy. We are going to talk about some of the amazing things coming with the Mage that we can be doing, and I'm almost convinced this might be worth playing. But before we hop into it, go ahead and hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, go ahead and hit that bell notification icon so you're notified every time we come out with a new video. Anyway, let's hop right into it. So, right here we are looking at my girl Maggie. All right, so as usual, we're going to start with the gear, then we're going to go into talents and runes. So, my two pennies, if you are going to be a caster, period, you need to get tailoring and engineering. And we're going to talk about why. Engineering, because a pair of goggles with 21 spell power is incredible, period. Don't care who you are, that's amazing. As you can see here, we are looking at a neck that is going to have intellect on it, right? So, big int on your neck's what you're looking for. The droplet choker is not bad from the raid, but, you know, having a Stam Spirit neck's not going to be anywhere near as good for you, having a int neck. So here we've got some sub-zero pauldrons. These are dropping off of the boss in the raid as well. But in the meantime, before you get these, I would highly recommend just grabbing some of Shadow's Wrath, or not Shadow Wrath, because you're not a Shadow Mage. You're a Frost Mage. Of Frozen Wrath, obviously, if you are going Fire, you get of Fiery Wrath, and if you are going Arcane, you get of Arcane Wrath. So, one of the things to take into consideration when you're poking around trying to get greens is you want to have some of your gear has damage and some of your gear has the stats that you need. Because having all of the damage in the world isn't going to help you if you don't have any mana to cast the spells, and vice versa. Having all the mana in the world, but not having any damage on your spells, you'll be able to last longer in the fight, but womp, right? Alright, so the Resilient Cape, this one's incredible. It's on here somewhere. Where'd it go? Anyway, the Resilient Cape, 6 int. You can look at some of this other stuff. You can get 9 damage. So anytime we look at something and I say you can get 9 frozen damage, 9 frost damage, 9 whatever, this also counts for Arcane and for Fiery Wrath. So that would give you 9 frost damage, 9 Arcane damage. The total you can get on your back at this level is 9. So just take that as that. So you can get 16 frost damage on your chest, or you can grab the Azure Silk chest because it's got both on it, right? I think that's probably going to be a good call, is being able to get both there, because again, you don't want to stack too much damage and not enough intellect. So go ahead and get the Azure Silk vest. Obviously you can mix and match. If you get more stuff there, you can go ahead and snag the Robes of Aragol if you need to, because they have 9 int, right? Couple of world drops that have huge int, but you're not going to be able to get those, not very likely. But having 9 int is going to be great. 7 damage. Obviously there's more damage from the other robes, because you're not allocating your points elsewhere. Mind Thrust Bracers, if you get them, great. If not, won't. Go ahead and grab a Frozen Wrath in this slot if you have the opportunity. If you get a pair of Mind Thrust Bracers, or there are some available, congratulations, you won the lottery. Getting 9 intellect on your wrist is going to be incredible. So go ahead and grab some of Frozen Wrath. Do not forget you can enchant things too, so you'll be able to on your cloak. Not a whole lot there, but on your bracers, 5 intellect, right? You can get frost damage on your weapon. I would recommend, so you see here, I've got the Evocator's Blade. That's not going to be the best. That's just one I saw when I was poking around on here. This is a real good spot to bump up your Frozen Wrath damage. So you can get 16 on a 2-hander, or what I would probably recommend doing is getting a main hand that's got some frost damage on it, and then grabbing an offhand that's got some frost damage on it, or getting some int on your offhand, right? So you just grab what you need, right? Use this spot to mix and match and get the right kinds of things. Like right there, 7 int, 4 stamina. Oh man, that'd be huge. That'd be great. You can also grab more Frozen Wrath here if you need to. The thing to keep in mind, you are going to be able to get 16 frost damage on your main hand offhand combination, as well as on your two-hander. So don't really worry about that. You'll be able to get it either way. Over here, again, I've gone with the Azure Silk Gloves. These are really good. They've got frost spells by 10. We're not getting the Null Gloves. If you're Horde, if you're Alliance, obviously you'll be able to grab those because they're over in the wetlands. Jute Braid Gloves, 6 inch, huge. But here I would go ahead and get the Azure Silk just because they're easy to obtain. Super easy to get with tailoring. Belt of Argyle, no brainer. I'm not even going to open the talent thing there. Or the picker there, because Belt of Argyle is the belt you need to get. Belt of Argyle is incredible. 10 int is just huge. Again, we're at Azure Silk Pants. These are amazing. They have int and frost damage. They are great. Really good, pretty common drop here is Silver Thread Pants. If you don't have the Azure Silk Pants yet, they've just got Stamen Intellect. Once we go through and we talk about PvP stuff, we'll talk about what I would change, why I would change it and stuff. But for right now, we're kind of zoning in on PvE. Extra planar Spider Silk Boots. If you're a tailor, craft these. These are amazing. If you are not a tailor, you can grab the Frozen Wrath. You can get 11 there. But also, regular Spider Silk Boots are going to give you good stats too, right? So don't overlook these as far as stats go. Spider Silk Boots are crafted, so those are going to be readily available. They may not be cheap, but they'll be available. All right. If you do not get tailoring, though, this is a good Frozen Wrath spot as well. Advisor's Ring, no brainer. PvP, get that. Black Widow Band, if you are Alliance, this is going to be available. People are going to be killing the Leech Widow all the time. That's going to be up in the auction house. If you are not, there is a quest in RFK. You don't have to do the dungeon to do it. You can go in and you can grab it. I actually may make a video on this. But right here, grab the Snake Hoop, 6 int, that's huge. 1 less intellect. I mean, there you go. Willix the Importer, grab that. The Nomergon item, those rings are good, but you know, that's a crapshoot because you do grab encrusted quests, right? Cobalt Ring of Intellect, that one's going to be available. And then you've also got the Lavishly Jeweled Ring. That is going to be farmable in the Dead Mines. So if you want to grab that, go ahead and grab that. And then you go down after that. So everything else below that has less than 6 int on it. So it's a good spot to be in there. Going to get your Invoker's Void Pearl because you're not going to be able to get anything other than that except for the Arena Grandmaster. And good luck getting that one. Obviously, there's going to be some of us going to be trying. Me. So that's going to be fun. Cookie Stirring Rod is just a good wand. So you're not going to be able to get wands with very many stats. Like here you got one with 1 spirit, and then you go down through here, and then there's no more stats, right? So here you just want big DPS on your wand. I put Cookie Stirring Wand because why not? The Black Fathom Deeps quest, Black Fathom Villainy, Gravestone Scepter. I don't know if this quest is going to be available or not. And then the Dancing Flame from the Final Passage quest in Thousand Needles. This is going to be your best bet period anyway. This is coming from the same quest line that I showed you for the main hand for all of the melee characters. So this is going to be definitely obtainable if you are Horde. If you are not Horde, Fire Starter drops pretty frequently, easy to get. You're not going to be able to get either of those. Thunderwood may drop for you. You're not going to be able to get Branding Wand because you don't get to do a walk, I don't think. And then the Dire Wand drops pretty frequently, so that's probably where I'd live if I was Alliance. I'd be trying to get a Dire Wand. So that's the gear covered. Let's go ahead and hop on over to the talents. So here's where we are for the talents. This is going to be awesome. The way the talents are working with the new things is just incredible. So Frost Warding Increases the armor and resistance given by your frost armor and ice armor spells by 15%. In addition, gives your frost sword 10% chance to reflect frost spells. Right? Improved frost bolt reduces the casting time of your frost bolt by half a second. Yes, please. Let's go. Elemental precision reduces the chance that opponents can resist your frost and fire spells by 2%. There is an argument for picking this up, but you can move your other points around if you need to. Otherwise, I wouldn't worry about that one. Ice Shards increases the critical strike damage bonus of your frost spells by 100%. Amazing. Frostbite gives your chill effect 5% chance to freeze a target for 5 seconds. If you are not going to AoE grind, grab Frostbite. Improved Frost Nova reduces the cooldown of your Frost Nova spell by 2 seconds. This is going to be incredible. So this is another way you can go, right? So you may, if you like, take your points out of Piercing Ice, put them into Improved Frost Nova, and then one into Shatter, right? So, and then with this other talent, you can put 2 points into Improved Blizzard, which is probably what I would do. Give them a 50% slow. So the Improved Blizzard is for if you are going to be AoE grinding. All right. So something else you can do if you do not feel like you need Shatter. So this is PvP talent, single target talent. You can remove that point and you can put it in Improved Blizzard. The things I do not think can be changed or do not think you should change. You need 5 points in Improved Frostbolt. You need 5 points in Ice Shards. You need 1 point in Cold Snap. And then these 5 are kind of your flex points, right? Now, there is the argument that if you are going to be AoE grinding specifically, you can move 3 points from Improved Frostbolt over to Elemental Precision to make sure your Blizzard does not get resisted as often, right? And then you put the points back in the same places, right? And then this is where you're living for that, right? And then that's kind of your what you want to be doing, where you want to be, how you want to be doing it, right? Frost channeling is amazing if you want to throw 1 point in there. It's just where you want to put your utility points is what's going to be changing, right? And then when we make the PvP guide, it's going to look completely different. So we'll talk about that when we get there. So for Frost, we're going to go ahead and talk about all the runes, and I'll tell you what we'd be using for Frost. Burnout. Increase your spell critical chance with all spells by 15%, but your non-periodic spell critical strikes now have an additional mana cost of 1% of your base mana. Notice that says base mana. So if you want to build crit, for example, if you're going fire, this is going to be amazing. If you like crit in general, this is amazing. Like there's like 1% base mana is nothing. Enlightenment, you deal 10% more damage while you have more than 70% mana, and while below 30% mana, 10% of your mana regeneration continues while casting. This is going to be incredible for you mages that don't have enough mana, or if you are DPSing as Arcane. This is just a good quality of life. This might be good for questing. This is going to be good for AoE grinding. Fingers of Frost also gives your chill fix 15% chance to grant the Fingers of Frost effect, which treats your next 2 spell casts as if the targets were frozen. Last 15 seconds. Okay, Fingers of Frost is where you're going to be basically all the times a Frost Mage. This is just amazing. Especially once you get Shatter. 2 spells mean Shatter combo. Frostbolt into Ice Lance, right? Also means if you are on the run and you are kiting, you will then be able to just double Ice Lance and get your multipliers on your Ice Lance. And we're going to talk about that in a minute. If you decide you want to try the new flavor and you want to be a healer, here's your rune. Regeneration heals the target for 485 health over 3 seconds and applies Temporal Beacon for 30 seconds. Records the subject's space-time position. 100% of all arcane damage done by the caster will be converted to chromomantic healing and divided among the caster's current Temporal Beacon targets. This rune has been changed. The total is not 100 anymore, but it's still going to be your go-to for healing. So we're going to leave that on Fingers of Frost for now. pop over here, Arcane Surge. I think this is going to just be incredible. We're going to see some Palm Pyro Arcane Surge, just two globaling people. It's going to be great. Unleash all of your remaining mana in a surge of energy focused at the target, dealing arcane damage increased by up to 300 based on your mana remaining. Afterward, your normal mana regeneration is activated and increased by 300% for 8 seconds. This is just going to be incredible. It's going to be a lot of fun to play with, and I can see this talent right here by itself making me want to play Arcane. Icy Veins, this is the same as the latter versions of the game cooldown. Hastens your spell casting, increasing casting speed by 20%, and reduces the pushback suffered from damaging attacks while casting by 100%, last 20 seconds. This is incredible. Just 20% haste and no pushback for 20 seconds. If you have somebody and you juke a kick, you can cast in their face and just be like, ha ha, buddy, let's go. All right, Living Flame. Summons a Spellfire Flame that moves forward toward the target, leaving a trail of Spellfire. This trail deals 42 Spellfire damage every second to nearby enemies. Last 20 seconds. So, something I would say with this. So this is probably going to come in handy when you are AoE grinding. Throw this on a mouse over macro. Throw down your Blizzard before you start moving. Or while you're moving even. Go ahead and, if this doesn't have a cast time, obviously, go ahead and mouse over the guy in the back of the pack. Throw the Living Flame or the guy in the front. That way they all have to walk through it, right? And then you're going to be having this on the ground, which is going to be cool. And then here's your healer rune for this slot. Heals all target players or party members within 15 yards of the target for 262 over 3 seconds, and applies Temporal Beacon to each target for 15 seconds. So this is going to be great. Records the subject's space-time position. 100% of all arcane damage the caster will be converted to chromatic healing and divided among the caster's current Temporal Beacon targets. This is basically your AoE utility heal. So you can pop this. Obviously, you may not have to channel it the whole time. Right? You may just channel it, get the beacon, walk in, blink in, Arcane Explosion. Right? It depends on what you're trying to do. I firmly believe that getting up your temporal beacons and using something like Arcane Explosion is going to be an incredible way to AoE heal your group. As well as help with some DPS utility. I think that's going to be a lot of fun. And then last, but absolutely not least, we have the Gloves rune. Arcane Blast. Blast a target with energy, dealing 190 to 221 arcane damage. Each time you cast Arcane Blast, the damage and healing of all arcane spells is increased by 15%, and the mana cost of Arcane Blast is increased by 175%. Stacks up to 4 times and lasts 6 seconds or until another arcane damage or healing spell is cast. So, here's what this is going to look like. Get 4 stacks of Arcane Blast, Palm Pyro, dump your other arcane ability, and whoever you hit with those last 2 spells is dead. Like, they're done. Dunzo. Game over. Alright, Ice Lance. This is where you're living for Frost Mage. It deals 237 frost damage to an enemy target. Causes triple damage against frozen targets. So it's going to be tripled when you have Fingers of Frost. It's going to be tripled when you get Frostbite procs, and it's going to be tripled when you are using your Frost Nova. So Ice Lance is going to be big money. Living Bomb. This is going to be coming in handy for all of you AoE mages out there. If you notice, you are going to be able to put Living Bombs on your AoE targets while you're AoEing. So while you're moving, throw a Living Bomb or 2 and then start blizzarding in. Like, this is gonna be just good. Like, I don't even, like, okay. Obviously we may have mana constraints, but we're gonna see if this works out, right? Because this may be enough to offset that. This may speed it up enough that it doesn't matter. This may reduce the amount of blizzard you have to cast substantially because you're dunking the mobs so much faster, right? So it depends on the well, we know we can group them up and blah blah blah, so we're gonna see how that goes. Rewind time. This is your oh crap heal button. Your current target with your temporal beacon instantly heals all damage taken over the last 5 seconds. Ineffective on targets that did not have a temporal beacon 5 seconds ago. So you're basically going to make sure you always have your temporal beacon on your tank. If they take a big bonk, you just rewind time. Oh, cool. You got hit for 80% of your HP? No, you didn't. You got crushing blowed? No, you didn't. Like, this is going to be really good. So that is that build. If you are not going to be AoE grinding, here's what I would suggest. 5 points into Improved Frost Bolt, 5 points in the Ice Shards, 2 points into Frost Nova, 1 point in the Cold Snap, 2 points into Frostbite, and then 1 point into Shatter. So that's probably the order I would get these in, because this is Frostbite is RNG. Obviously the Frostbite is the utility here. If you want to move the Frostbite, you can move the Frostbite. Move it over to Elemental Precision. But these other points, I would not give up, period. Because they're going to be sticking with your Fingers of Frost, your Icy Veins, and your Ice Lance. This is going to be doing really well for you with what you're doing. Cold Snap is going to be giving you back Icy Veins. Shatter is going to be giving you higher critical strike chance for your Ice Lance and your Frostbolt when you have them frozen, etc., etc. Obviously, there's going to be a point where you can have Frostbite and all of these, but early on, that's where you want to be. This is also the setup I'd recommend for PvP for Frost, but we'll talk about that in another video. Okay, so let's hop right into fire. Improved Fireball reduces the casting time of your Fireball spell by 0.1 second. Yep, we're doing that. Impact. This is basically a PvP thing. 2% chance to stun the target for 2 seconds. You don't need this. Ignite. Your critical strikes from fire spells cause the target to burn for an additional 8%. Oh, hey, that seems like it might be good, right? Flamethrowing, little extra range, always good. Improved Fire Blast. This is not a bad call. Utility points, right? If you want to reduce the cooldown of your Fire Blast, by all means. It is going to come down to how much mana we're having and all that. You always want to get Pyroblast. Burning Souls. This is not bad. PvE, you're going to want this because you're going to be critting and you're going to need to get your threat down. Critical strike of your Flame Strike. So something to note is this only counts for the first hit. It doesn't particularly count for the ticks. And then Incinerate, critical strike chance of your Fire Blast and Scorch spells by 2%. So we're going to put 2 points in Burning Soul. You can put whatever you want for these other ones. I personally would take the extra range. And then the Master of Elements, you want to be here because your Fire and Frost spell criticals will refund 20% of their base mana cost. Improved Fire Ward is not bad. Improved Scorch is good. Your Scorch spells have a 33% chance to cause your target to be vulnerable to fire damage. This vulnerability increases the fire damage dealt to the target by 3%, stacks up to 5 times. So what you will do later on, I mean, Master of Elements you need because it's going to be mana management, but later on you're going to be able to have 3 points in Improved Scorch. You're going to stack this up 5 times, and you're never, ever, ever going to let this buff fall off. We're just going to keep this up all the time because making your target take 15% more damage from you and from all other fire damage. It does not say dealt to the target from you. It says dealt to the target. Yes. All right. So this is what I would do if I was fire. I would grab Burnout because 15% crit. I would probably stay on Icy Veins, to be completely honest. Living Flame's also fine, but I would stay with Icy Veins just to have that cooldown. Just have that cooldown for when it's up, right? 20% cast speed. Also, something else you can consider if you're going to PvP as fire, Pyroblast Arcane Surge, right? So we'll change this up and I'll talk about that in the PvP video, but that's kind of where you want to be with that. But for PvE, Icy Veins is where I would suggest being. So here for DPS, just regular PvE, we are doing Living Bomb. Target becomes a Living Bomb. You can spread this around to different targets. It's just going to be incredible. This is going to make your AoE really good. You're going to be able to compete with improved Blizzard, improved damaging Frost over here. Again, you're going to be looking for gear of Fiery Wrath if you were fire. Also, don't forget, you still get the Blizzard spell if you are fire. So you can throw out your living bombs and then cast Blizzard and set them off and get a little chain reaction going. Flame Strike's also going to be an option. If your Death Ball with your tank is in a good spot, I would just Living Bomb and Flame Strike. Right? Because you're going to have multipliers for Flame Strike and not for Blizzard. Okay. Last, but certainly not least, is going to be Arcane. So there's going to be two different ways to play Arcane. There's going to be, are you a Deep Sea boy or are you a Healy boy? Firstly, let's look at the talents. All right, Arcane Stability. Resistances and reduces the threat caused by your arcane spells by 20%. That's going to be a no-brainer if you are going to be DPSing. We also like Arcane Focus. So you got to get 17% hit chance as a caster to be able to not ever be resisted. I mean, there's always a 1% resist chance, but you got to get 17%. So as a Arcane Mage, you get 10 here, and then 10%, and then 10 more resistances, right? You get a lot right off the rip. So that's pretty good if you don't have the hit. Arcane Missiles, improved Arcane Missiles. This is going to be more of a PvP talent. It's going to keep you from getting pushed back while you're channeling Arcane Missiles. Wand Specialization. This is really good for questing and stuff. Magic Absorption increases all resistances to all spells, and whenever you fully resist a spell, you restore 1% of your total mana. That's good if, you know, you're PvPing or whatever. Arcane Concentration, 2% chance after any damaging spell hits the target to get into clear casting. Reduces the damage or the mana cost of your next damaging spell by 100%. You want that. Arcane Resilience, don't really care. Improved Arcane Explosion, that's going to be good. Or Magic Attunement, Amplify Magic, and Dampen Magic. These are going to be so okay. I think Improved Arcane Explosion is going to be great. And then I think Arcane Meditation is going to be great. So for the most part, you're going to be doing the same things for PvP and PvE, for healing and for DPS, right? Getting your resistances up, not your resistances, your penetration, I guess, up, your hit up, getting your clear casting, getting your improved Arcane Explosion, because you're going to be using Arcane Explosion a lot in AoE packs to heal, and then getting your mana regeneration on. Improved Counterspell if you're going to PvP, sure. Improved Mana Shield. I would not recommend using Mana Shield because that drains your mana real quick. Later on, you will put a point in Arcane Resilience so you can get Arcane Mind, because maximum mana, and then you'll get Presence of Mind when you can, and then you'll move on down and you'll get Arcane Power, right? Like, you can get these things. As far as runes, if you are questing and not healing, Enlightenment. Or if you're DPSing, Enlightenment. 10% more damage when you have more than 70% mana. While below 30% mana, 10% of your mana regeneration continues while casting. This is just going to keep your mana situation a little better off. If you are going to be healing, we are going to grab Regeneration. We already talked about that. So those are your two suggestions there. Here, Mass Regeneration, just your AoE heal, is going to be great. If you're going to be questing or you're going to be DPSing, you're going to grab Arcane Surge. We already talked about what those do. If you need to go back and check it out, go back and check it out. And then here, Rewind Time is going to be where you're living, because this is going to be your oh crap button. Your current target with your Temporal Beacon instantly heals for the damage taken over 5 seconds, or Arcane Blast. So Arcane Blast is going to be really good for questing and PvP and doing dungeons as a DPS. Rewind Time is going to be really good for not only questing, but it's also going to be good for healing dungeons. So with the spells you already have, if you're questing as Arcane, having Rewind Time is going to be good, because you can keep your, if you are using one of the healing spells, so say your Regeneration, Arcane Surge, and Rewind Time, right? Keep yourself as the beacon and Rewind Time when you get smacked real hard. Otherwise, Enlightenment and Arcane Blast, right? And then this is where you're going to be living for DPS and questing and stuff. So yeah, that is going to be it for the Mage Guide, guys. Hit the like button if you're still around. Don't forget to subscribe and that bell notification icon. Hint, hint. And I am looking forward to seeing you guys in a couple of days. We are only a few days away, and I cannot wait. I requested time off of work, and I am looking forward to seeing you guys in Azeroth. See ya.